Hello and welcome to Weird World Weekly, a production of Galactic Netcasts. I'm Dave Nelson and this is Matt Stein. Hello, Matt.
Hey, sometimes I like to watch your glasses, the reflection, to see your screen change.
Oh. So
That's
if
kind
I move one way, the color changes or there's
not
different
really.
glare?
You were looking directly at your screen, so I could see your windows change.
Oh.
I couldn't tell what you're doing, so whatever. But I felt really weird because I'm staring deep into Dave's digital eyes.
It's a good thing I don't have some kind of thing that I don't want you to see on my screen. That'd be
But that's, yeah, I know you wouldn't do that, but that's what I was hinting at.
That's my chicken porn. Damn it. That was my secret. Well, how you doing, man?
Good. Busy.
I'm still cleaning up the studio after you and Corey took over last week.
Did Corey leave a bucket of feces somewhere? I told him not to, but
there's a spot of snot on the ground. You guys are so crude.
A pile of adult magazines. We had a discussion in between recording that the Weird World Weekly and the podcast It's Hair about how the first thought on both of our minds was don't swear, don't swear, don't swear.
And you didn't. You guys did great.
No. It's much easier when you and I are doing this. I know I shouldn't swear. When Corey and I were doing it, I was like, all right, and I remember where I'm at. It's like I'm in a grocery store full of children right now.
For those listening and have no idea what the hell we're talking about, Matt does another podcast on the Galactic Netcast Network called Podcast of Terror. His host, Corey Scott, was you and him came on last week because I was sick.
Yep.
And our Halloween episode of Weird World Weekly. And you guys on your podcast swear like every other word's a swear word.
I mean, I wouldn't go that far. We don't hold back.
I think your dogs.
My dogs are not holding back right now.
No, I think you have ghosts in the house. That's what they're barking at.
Well, my wife came home, so I didn't realize she was going to show up right now. But
all right, well, they seem happy.
Yeah.
Let's talk about some weird stuff. This is the podcast where we do talk about the weird, the odd, the strange, the unusual, and we're talking the paranormal, the mythological, the conspiratorial, or anything else that fits that category. On this episode, our categories... Well, wait a second. Before we get into the possible stories that we might be talking about, got to remind you guys that you can check out our show and Matt's other podcast, along with the Alien Invasion podcast, the Sci-Fi Geeks Club, Adventure Party. What am I missing?
Adventure Party, Sci-Fi Geeks Club, Alien Invasion, Weird World Weekly, Podcast It's Hair.
And the other small ones, like Daryl's got the
Who review or whatever stupid thing.
Doctor Who podcast. Then we've got the Galactic Gaming News. You can check out all those at gncasts.com. Please subscribe to the podcast. There's a subscribe tab at the top. Also, you can find us on iTunes and Stitcher. And leave us feedback, too. galacticnetcasts@gmail.com. You can call our voicemail number, which is 805-328-3966. And we do have a voicemail that we're going to play later on in the show. But first, let's talk about something weird. Our categories this time around. And do you want to explain how we pick the stories that we talk about on each episode, Matt?
Yes. Dave forcefully forces me to spin the weird, wacky wheel of wobbly weirdness.
And then there's like spots on that wheel, right? And
there are spots on the wheel. I even made a drawing one time to illustrate how the spots and the wheel works. But we put stories on the wheel, and whatever the wheel lands on is the story that we kind of talk about.
And the stories this time around: haunted tunnels with really creepy backstories, New World Order, real life, unexplained events that actually came from movies, lighthouses surrounded by spooky legends, the I-4 Deadzone,
Wow.
And 10 strange mysteries from around the world that are still unsolved.
So, is the New World Order, is that the original or is that the Wolf Pack?
No, the original New World Order.
Oh, that was a wrestling reference?
No. Yeah. Okay.
Didn't know. Maybe it went over your head.
No, this is the original, and the reason that we put that in our story selection is from our voicemail. So let me play that, then we'll spin the wheel, then we'll talk about whatever story may be. So here's some feedback that we got at 805-328-3966.
Hi, this is Allison from Pennsylvania. I'm a really big fan of the show, and my favorite is conspiracy theories. By the way, the Steelers are way better than the Packers. Bye.
Ah, them's fighting words, eh?
I mean, I guess if I really cared about football, I'd be upset. I have a really good friend in Kansas who's a Steelers fan, and like one day a year, we're not friends. So
Okay.
I guess that goes the same here.
So that one day a year, you'll also be enemies with Allison.
Correct.
Okay.
I'm shaking my fist at you, Allison.
So she likes conspiracy theories, and that's why we put on the New World Order on the wheel. So let's spin the wheel, find out what we're going to talk about this time. Here we go. So it can be any of those stories that I mentioned. They're all there, tacked onto the wheel. And wherever it stops, that is the story that we are going to talk about. So, looks like, hey, it's New World Order. What are the chances of that happening?
Go figure.
Yeah. All right, so I figured, one of the categories of stories that we talk about on this podcast are the conspiracy theories. And we haven't really discussed the big ones, right? The main conspiracy theories that everybody always talks about. And one of the main conspiracy theories is the New World Order. Have you ever heard of it besides the wrestling term?
No, and no, I mean, I've heard the term, but I know nothing about it.
Okay. Well, you're about to get schooled, son.
All right. Let's do this.
Okay, so the New World Order is a conspiracy theory that states that a group of international elites control and manipulates governments, industry, and media organizations worldwide. So we're not talking countrywide. We're not talking like on a state or a province level. We're talking worldwide, my friend. Does that scare you a little bit?
Not really. It wouldn't surprise me, but I just, I guess I would prefer not to know.
Okay. Well, here's some more to not know. The primary tool they use is to dominate nations is the system of central banking. They are said to have funded and in some cases caused most of the major wars of the last 200 years, to carry out false flag attacks, to manipulate populations into supporting them, and to have a grip on the world economy, deliberately causing inflation and depressions at will. Operatives working for the New World Order are said to be placed in high positions in government and industry. The people behind the New World Order are thought to be international bankers, in particular the owners of the private banks in the Federal Reserve System and other central banks, and members of the Council on Foreign Relations, Trilateral Commission, and Bilderberg Group. You ever heard of the Bilderberg Group?
Mm-mm.
They're like, somebody out there, if you're listening and you don't know more than I do, if I get this wrong, please let us know. The Bilderberg Group is like this group of like uber rich people, like filthy, like the most rich that you can be in this world. And they meet every once in a while to kind of make decisions of some kind. I don't know what they decide, but they meet for some weird reason. Probably you know what they do?
They burn money.
I was gonna say that.
Really?
They get their fire pit and they put a big, like, $1 million in there and go, let's just burn this money.
Yeah.
Filthy rich.
I'm looking at the Wikipedia. I was trying to see if there's like, you have to have this amount of money to join the group, but
it doesn't say that?
No.
Okay. Continuing, the New World Order is also said to control global organizations such as the European Union, United Nations, World Bank, International Monetary Fund, and the proposed North American Union, That's like the European Union, but with just North America. People hate that idea. Like, because you know how the European Union works, right? It's the one currency, isn't it?
Yeah, it's all the euro, I believe.
Yeah, euro.
Yeah.
The term gained popularity following its use in the early 1990s by President George H.W. Bush when he referred to his dream of a new world order in a speech to the U.S. Congress on September 11th, 1990. Claimed motivations behind the New World Order conspiracy vary, but a commonly suggested end goal for the conspiracy is the creation of a one world government through which the conspirators would exert absolute dominance over the earth and eliminate all sources of dissent. Not dissident, not the Pearl Jam song.
Classic Dave.
So what do you think so far?
It wouldn't surprise me. I've said it before. I'll say it again. I don't necessarily believe that the government that you see as being your figurehead is really the top of the food chain. It's the same thing as it's the same as having a belief in religion. Everyone feels better knowing that there's something bigger than them, while you feel better knowing that your president is above you and makes your decisions. Maybe you don't, but you never really know what's beyond that. So I think that there's people bigger than the American president and the presidents across the globe that make the real decisions because they have all the money.
I believe that that's true to a point. Like, I think there is control, but I don't think it's as organized as this conspiracy theory states.
No, and that's the thing. Like, I'm not 100% sure, but I agree with what you're saying. Like, I'm sure to some extent there is groups and power beyond the government, but I'm not saying that they're out for blood or they're always doing bad things or they're trying to take over the world. It's just, there's just somebody above that.
You know what's great for this kind of stuff is TV shows like The X-Files or Fringe. They always deal with like a shadow organization that's not officially part of any kind of government. And I hope they deal with that in the new season of The X-Files next winter or this winter.
Oh, yeah, I forgot about that.
Yeah. There's a little bit more. The concept of the shadowy government predates 1990. It's accused of being the same group of people who, among other things, created the Federal Reserve Act in 1913, supported the Bolshevik Revolution, and supported the rise of the Nazi Party in Germany. All of their own agenda. The World Bank and national central banks are said to be the tools of the New World Order. War generates massive profits for central bank because government spending, hence borrowing at interests from the central banks, increases dramatically in times of war and distress. Many conspiracy theorists believe that Denver, this is my favorite part of this whole article right here, because I think we've brushed on the Denver International Airport before. So conspiracy theorists believe that the airport is the Western U.S. headquarters of the New World Order, and a massive underground base and city is believed to exist underneath the airport. Reasons for this include the airport's unusual large size, because it's larger than some major cities, distance from Denver, Colorado, the set of environmentally themed murals by artist Leo Tanguma, depicting burning cities, gas mask wearing soldiers and girls in coffins, and the capstone of the Great Hall, which includes Masonic symbols and strange writing. It is claimed that secret fleets of black helicopters are ready to take control when the New World Order is set up. I'm sure that you've heard of the black helicopters before too, right?
I believe so. Enlighten me?
Well, it's just that sometimes people think they see these black helicopters with no like official writing. Like they're not really government helicopters. They're not any kind of police force or private helicopters. They're just really super black. And I believe another trait of the black helicopters are like the sound is muffled a little bit.
Huh. Also wouldn't surprise me.
Yeah.
I believe that was the oh man. I believe the last Call of Duty game was about like a task force that governments would hire out to do things. So
Okay.
they didn't belong to a specific country. They belonged to whoever paid the most money.
I see. So they were like super like Uber. There's that word again.
Yeah,
Uber mercenaries, sort of.
essentially.
Yeah. And the black helicopters have been used in other areas too, not just the New World Order, but like the Men in Black are supposed to have black helicopters as well. And other government agencies in the U.S. or other governments around the world have black helicopters. So it's not just the New World Order's privy.
Right.
Yeah, there's a lot of things that we could talk about that were inside this story. Like we could continue to talk about the Bilderberg group. That's ripe with interesting stuff. Let's see, there's a couple other things I wanted to mention. Where is it? Well, the Denver airport is a major deal as well.
But that's like Area 51 and its actual location.
No, it's not. Area 51 is Nevada.
No. But what I'm saying is not people don't know exactly.
Yeah, exactly.
So it's like this is all just, and that's where I was going with it. It's a location that people think is really there, and they think that this is what really happens. Same thing with the airport.
Yeah,
no one knows for sure.
Yeah, Area 51 is for sure a military base.
Yes,
they just don't know what goes on there. It could be just it could be like test flights of experimental aircraft or other military gear, or it could be aliens. You don't know.
Yeah, Colorado Airport could just be an airport.
Yeah, that's just happens to be massive in size.
Yeah. Well, it happens.
All right, so there you go. That's that was for you. What was our caller's name?
Allison, that was for you. Your conspiracy theory right there. And one of the big ones too. Maybe we should kind of try to like make an effort to touch on the major conspiracy theories. Because we've done shows where we go, okay, here's 3 wacky conspiracy theories, but we haven't really gone in depth in one particular one. Like the what that creepy video is turning into.
Oh yeah, you and Corey talked about that.
I literally lost a half a day at work reading about this thing.
Do you want to just sum it up real quick for those that didn't catch last episode, like me? Well, I listened, but
yeah. So there's this video that was shot. They've now pinpointed to when it was shot between March 24th and April 22nd of 2015 at what at first they thought was an undisclosed location. Turns out it's an abandoned insane asylum in Poland. Okay. And yeah, apparently like people shoot movies there all the time. You can play paintball in it. Like it's open to the public. It's not difficult to get to. But it's a person in like a plague doctor mask and a big robe. And I have not watched it yet. Corey watched it. I'm honestly a little scared to watch it.
Yeah, because I think Corey's going to die from some weird...
Yeah, within a year. He's supposed to die. Sorry, buddy. But there's like really no talking. It's just sounds from what I understand. And I've seen a ton of stills because people are like dissecting it and peeling the audio apart and trying to figure out if words are said. And there's like Morse code happening. And like at one point, the person puts their hand up and there's like lights in the palm of their hand and they believe that's Morse code. And there's like hieroglyphs and stuff that fly across the screen. So there's like subreddits to this thing and all these ideas. And I guess what happened was the original one, someone quote unquote found on a park bench. And then someone else found one on a park bench. And then it was on YouTube and it was taken down. And then a guy at a tech blog in Sweden got a copy sent directly to him. And it was just the CD. And apparently whatever was written on the CD, he thought at first was a product code, but it's like base 64 for 11B minus X minus 1371. So that's now what the video is being called.
What does that mean?
No idea. No one knows.
Okay.
But like, there's there's a ton of people like working on this thing. So this guy keeps updating the original blog post on gadgets with Z's, with what people are finding, and I was looking at pictures of a guy on Twitter at Exen, EXEN, was one of the first people to actually go in and take pictures of the asylum and stuff, and he's got all sorts of crazy stuff. It's insane. They think that it might be publicity for a TV show. Someone thinks it's publicity for the new Skrillex album. But the thing is the reason that they don't think it's for TV is because there's a lot of like violence in this. There's all these stills of like women tied up and tortured, and it's all art or from movies, but it's still like a little extreme for a TV show.
Okay, maybe it's viral marketing for a movie. You know, it's like Blair Witch on steroids, kind of.
There was a movie that they mentioned. I can't think of what it's called though. I'm gonna try and take a look here real quick. But there's some movie coming out where the killer sends a similar video to the person he kills, and they think that it's marketing for that movie, or could be at least,
or something inspired from that movie.
Yes, but either way, these people went through a massive amount of trouble, just an insane amount of trouble to do this, and it's creepy and weird. And like Corey and I talked about, it's only creepy and weird because you're not entirely sure.
Yeah.
As soon as everyone figures out what it is, it's not going to become scary anymore.
Probably just a group of people or an organization just trolling the human race. Let's just mess with people.
I'm good on them. I guess they have a lot of people working on this thing. I think there's an entire subreddit already for this.
Okay. So that's cool. That's a great follow-up to last week's episode. If you want to check that out, it's the Halloween special of Weird Weekly.
It is the movie adaptation of Dan Brown's novel Inferno is what they think it might be for, because the killer's wearing like a gas mask that kind of looks like a plague doctor mask.
That movie's not been released yet, right?
Correct.
Ooh, okay.
It says, in the book, a death-obsessed genius sends a video while wearing a similar outfit to the man in the clip and preaches the benefits of creating a new plague to reduce the human population.
Oh, wow.
Movie comes out next year.
That could be some marketing. Well, I guess we'll find out if it is or not.
Yeah, I'm curious.
Okay. Stay tuned.
Yes.
We'll have more on this, hopefully.
Absolutely, because now I'm kind of obsessed.
Yep. When Matt's obsessed, the rest of the world's obsessed.
Yep.
Okay, real quick before we get out of here, you can become a member of the Galactic Collective, our little elite group organization, if you will, our own Bilderberg group. Go to gncasts.com. That's gncasts.com. And click, it's, I think, on every page, upper right-hand corner. Click on Join the Galactic Collective, and you'll join the inner circle and make decisions for Galactic Netcasts. Okay. That's going to do it for this episode of Weird World Weekly. Of course, you can subscribe via iTunes, Stitcher, and just go to our website, gncasts.com. Feedback, galacticnetcasts@gmail.com, 805-328-3966. Anything else before we got to get out of here, Matt? Hurry up.
No, nothing. Stay weird. Get out of here.
We do have a little time left.
Oh.
So I can talk a little bit more. Then I can ask you until next time, Matt, what do you want to do?
Stay weird, Dave.
All right, perfect.
Huh.
Cool.
How long was that?
About 24 minutes.
Oh, okay. It didn't feel long. That's what I was asking.
Okay, hang on. What number was this? So it's
44?
45.
45. Damn it. Stupid.
That's stupid.
Yeah, well, I'll get over it.
Weird Weekly. Until I feel good. My voice is great. I feel good. I'm not coughing up a storm, which is this is like the first day I haven't been coughing like crazy.
Good.
But I have a feeling that by the time that we're done with the second episode, my voice may be a little bit weakened. So
I think
it sucks. It's the thing that I have. But it's a thing that's going around. Like a lot of people I've talked to have had this.
Really?
Yeah.
Alyssa's got some cold right now, but I hopefully won't get it. It's not a lot of coughing though. She's mostly just stuffed up and miserable.
Yeah, the coughing sucks. All right, let's get up. Get up. Let's do episode 46. We're only doing 2 here, so.
All right.
I want to get done before Arrow starts.
What time's Arrow start? 8?
8 my time.
Okay. So I will keep an eye on the clock then.
And we're recording it, so it doesn't really matter too much.
Oh, yeah, still. I know the feeling.
All right. Just pasting that at the bottom. I'm going to make it here and...
Oh, crap.
Order. Don't fall asleep.
I don't even know why I'm tired. I didn't do anything today.
Well, if you sit in front of a glowing screen, that will make you tired.
I know. It's interesting.
All right. Microphone's down. And I'll start the music and we'll start the show. Here we go. Hello and welcome to another edition of the podcast that we like to call Weird World Weekly, a production of Galactic Netcasts. I'm Dave Nelson, alongside my cohort. I could have said co-host, Matt, but I said cohort.
I wasn't sure where you were going with that. You had me on edge the entire time.
That's what I do. I like to keep people on edge. Make them feel really uncomfortable at party. That's Matt Stein. This is the show where we discuss the odd, the weird, the strange, the unusual, the unexplained, and paranormal, mythological, conspiratorial, or pretty much anything else that we find a little bit heebie-jeebie-ish. I just made up a word.
I don't believe you. Well, the heebie-jeebies is something. Heebie-jeebie-ish. I could see that being made up. But still a new way to describe something, so I fully endorse it.
Okay. Somebody write that down. Coin it. Dave Nelson, 2015. Heebie-jeebie-ish.
Trademark Dave Nelson.
Yeah. So what's new? What's new in your world? What's new in Wisconsin?
It's 70 degrees today.
Dude.
It's November 4th. It's 70 degrees.
I know it's warm here too. Although, we go by Celsius here. So let's have a little lesson in the different ways that we gauge weather and temperatures and things. So I'm going to look on my Google app. It's going to tell me what the temperature is here in Celsius. Let's figure it out together, what that means in Fahrenheit.
All right.
So it's 7 Celsius here right now.
Okay.
You want to do the conversion?
It's 44.6 degrees Fahrenheit.
Okay. That's fairly warm, right?
For this time of year, yeah.
Yeah.
When Alyssa and I got married, it was like 60 out. And our anniversary is tomorrow. So that's so it's we got lucky.
Happy anniversary.
Thank you. This is the first anniversary we'll be together for. Blame working.
Well, working, and you were in school for the longest time too.
Yeah, she was gone the first 2 for work, and I was gone last year for work.
Oh, okay.
So, back to weather. It is 63 degrees Fahrenheit, which is 17.2 degrees Celsius.
So you guys are a little bit warmer than we are, although we're at about the same latitude.
Yes. But
there may be other factors involved.
There's a cold front going through overnight tomorrow night, so it's going to be like a high of 48 on Friday.
Okay, so you have our weather tomorrow, basically, I think.
Well, it's still going to be 65 tomorrow.
Okay.
We're spending a lot of time talking about weather right now.
That's okay. That's okay. Weather can be weird too. You know, the weird. Where does it go? How does it become the way it becomes?
Living in Wisconsin, you can attest to the weirdness of the weather.
Yeah, because some stuff can come off the lake, and you're totally effed then.
Yep.
All right, so let's get into something weird. Before we do, though, got to touch on a couple of things. You can leave us feedback. We had some great feedback last episode from, I think her name was Allison, Pittsburgh Steelers fan, and she liked the conspiracies. So we talked about the New World Order. But you can kind of let us know what you like and don't like about what we talk about. Maybe you'll be an influence as to the stories that will be on the next episode. Who knows? galacticnetcasts@gmail.com is the email address. You can call our voicemail number. That's 805-328-3966, 805-328-3966. Do you want to talk about the Galactic Collective real quick, Matt?
It's a super secret society in which you have to be invited into by burning $1 million around a campfire.
Then we put on funny costumes.
Yep.
And there's an initiation involved.
And someone has to bring punch and pie.
What? Pumpkin pie?
Punch and pie?
Oh, punch and pie. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
I like pie. I do like pumpkin pie. But no, the Galactic Collective is a group of people you can join for free on the website or the Facebook. You get to make decisions. You could
Actually, there's different levels of the Galactic Collective, and the level that you can make decisions at is the one where you can give us at least $1 a month to our Patreon. But it's basically free. But you're supporting us. You're becoming part of the process, right?
I pay $1 a month. I don't even have to.
Thank you.
Wow.
Yeah, we should be paying you, really?
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, you should pay my internet, and you forced me to buy equipment, and
yeah, I didn't force.
Did my expense check come? Is it in the mail yet?
Yeah, we're working on that still. Well, eventually, if we do get enough on the Patreon account, then we might be able to start paying our hosts. But right now, we're trying to raise money for things like audio hosting, for bandwidth, for the website, for advertising. So just basically keeping the lights on sort of deal. That's where the money's going to, and you can contribute. My wife she's knocking on my door.
Your cave door?
I didn't realize it was her. Sorry. Thanks, Steph. I have coffee. Good.
Oh, where's mine?
Where's his? She's working on it. She'll be on a plane soon. So, yeah, just basically kind of maintenance things, what we're working on raising money for. So either go to the website, gncasts.com, and click on Join the Galactic Collective, or go to patreon.com/galactic netcasts. All right, so we have the Wheel of Weird that we're going to spin. We're about to spin. And on the wheel, there are slots where our different stories, possible stories that we'll talk about are. Do you want to run down what the stories are about this time?
Yes, we have haunted tunnels with really creepy backstories, real-life unexplained events that actually came from movies, lighthouses surrounded by spooky legends, the I-4 Deadzone, and 10 strange mysteries from around the world that are still unsolved.
All right, let's spin the wheel, and wherever the wheel lands on, that's the story we're going to talk about. It's all up to the wheel. We're in the wheels. We're at the wheel's mercy. All right, slowing down. And we're going to talk about the I-4 Deadzone, Corey. I mean, Matt. I don't know why I called you Corey.
Oh, my feelings are hurt.
I-4 Deadzone. Sorry, I apologize.
At least Corey's a cool dude. Like, he called me Adolf or something.
Blam. Okay, so the I-4 Deadzone. This has got a very interesting history. I-4 as in Interstate 4. Are you familiar with how the system works when it comes to naming interstates?
Doesn't it go right to left? Well, west to east. Isn't
Well,
that how
odd
they named it?
numbers. Even numbers, I think. No, even numbers are go west to
West
east.
to east, and odd go north to south, right?
Yeah. So this one is going east to west. And
Oh,
when it's a small number like that, it usually means it's on the East Coast, and that is correct. In this case, it is Florida.
which I'm gonna blow a hole in your theory right there. I-41 and 43 in Wisconsin go north south, and
Okay.
I-29 goes west to east or east
Okay.
to west.
Okay. Well, it's supposed to be. One's supposed to go one type of number is supposed to go one way, and the other type of number is supposed to go the other way.
Get your crap together, Department of Transportation.
Yeah. So, okay. The I-4 dead zone, an overpass on Interstate Highway 4, just north of Orlando at the St. Johns River in Seminole County in Florida, is known as the dead zone because of 4 graves beneath the highway. So the history of this area goes back to 1887 when a yellow fever epidemic hit a small Roman Catholic colony, killing 4 members of one of its families. With their priest dead, there was no one to administer last rites, and they were buried without ceremony in 4 graves. Now, fast forward to 1905. Albert Hawkins bought the land, cleared it for farming. He found the 4 graves, and in respect for the dead, farmed around the little cemetery, which sat in the middle of his field like an island. The area became known as the Field of the Dead and was for many years a well-kept secret by the local community. When Hawkins died in 1939, his widow continued to own the land until 1960, when it was purchased by the state for building Interstate 4. You can kind of see where this is going, right?
It's got a Indian burial ground kind of feel to it.
Yeah, it's got a very much that kind of vibe. The little ceremony, or the little cemetery, was identified to the state surveyors, but they didn't care. The graves were not removed, and they were soon covered up with fill dirt to elevate the new highway. And now this is where it starts getting really weird. At the same time that the fill dirt was dumped on the site, Hurricane Donna crossed the state. The eye of this strange storm passed right over the graves. The fury and flooding caused by Hurricane Donna disrupted highway construction for several months. Not only was Donna the worst storm to hit the interior of Central Florida in a century, it followed a very strange path. It had already crossed South Florida from the Atlantic and appeared to be heading westward into the Gulf of Mexico. Then it took a strange, eerie turn and basically followed the right-of-way Interstate 4 through Central Florida, with the eye passing over the graves about midnight. Many people believe that the strange maneuver of Hurricane Donna was caused by the highway construction tampering with the dead. Isn't that weird?
It seems, I don't know. It seems like too perfect of something to happen for it to actually happen.
What do you mean?
It just doesn't sound like man. It's so strange and out there and weird that it's too weird to be true. Does that make sense?
I'm still not getting you. Like, are you saying that it's so perfect it's got to be true, or it's just super
it's so perfect it can't be true?
Oh, okay. But okay, the hurricane was going directly west from the Atlantic Ocean. It was on a path that hurricanes almost always take. It then veered north. The hurricane veered north, Matt.
I'm listening. I'm looking up Hurricane Donna path.
How is that possible? How does it, especially a hurricane? I can understand like tornadoes, like moving on a dime and changing direction real quick. But a hurricane is a huge thing, right?
This didn't really look like it turned on a dime. I mean, it turned pretty abruptly, but
Forget I said it that way. It just turned.
Well,
Hurricane.
it turned a lot for a hurricane.
Okay.
So I don't know.
So will you at least entertain the possibility that this was the result of graves being disturbed?
Absolutely.
Okay. I'm glad that we came to some kind of...
But usually it's not like Catholic graves that cause the problems. It's usually like Indian graves or something.
Okay. Well,
you know what I mean?
Well, you never know. So if that wasn't proof enough for you, let's continue here. Witnesses have said that their cell phones will pick up strange voices at the south end of the Interstate 4 bridge in Seminole County. One woman reports that if she is talking with someone on the phone, which she shouldn't be doing anyways when you're driving,
yes,
the conversation is interrupted by what she believes to be the voices of the dead. This section is also infamous for an extremely high number of accidents, reports of ghost hitchhikers, static on car radios, and cell phones. Also reported are sightings of white mist and balls of light as you pass through this section of the interstate. So I think before you make your little old judgment there, Matt, you should go to Florida and travel this section.
I actually, a friend of mine is in South Florida right now.
Really?
They leave for tour Saturday night.
You need to ask him about it.
I'm going to. All of his band is from Miami. He's from California, but he lived in Florida for a month.
Okay.
I'm trying to look at how I-4 works, because if he's near Miami, I believe. So he might bypass it. It looks like they might take 95 out of the state. I'm going to ask him. I'm going to ask him right now.
Okay. That'd be neat if we could get him to, if he can talk to somebody that's actually had experience with this, or even better, if he could actually make a trip, maybe not now, but sometime in the future.
Yeah.
Up I-4 and let us know what he experienced, if anything. That would be really cool.
Yeah, he like I said, all the other guys in his band are from that area, so I'm gonna ask him if they're taking I-4 out of town by chance, and if not, if any of the other guys have.
Okay, all right. I would love to get actual. The reason that I got this story was I saw something on the television about this on some show. I thought it was interesting.
Really? See, I'm trying to figure out exactly where it is. Like where specific, because there's a lot of lakes and stuff around.
Well, it's the St. Johns River,
which is what I'm looking for.
Just north of Orlando at the St. Johns River in Seminole County. So you just look for Seminole County, you look for Orlando, and the St. Johns River, and you should be able to figure out, right?
Yeah. Well, it's the St. Johns River is like south of Jacksonville. This ain't right. All right, I'll have to keep looking.
Okay. Another article that I read actually gave the actual number of accidents, and it's crazy the amount of accidents in that particular stretch of the highway.
Really?
Yeah, it shouldn't happen. That many accidents on that small area shouldn't happen like that.
Well, what was the number?
I forget. I don't remember. I'm not good with numbers. I don't remember numbers.
I thought you would have kept a note.
No. And we would love to hear from if you're a listener of this podcast and you've had experience as well on the I-4 Deadzone. Please let us know. galacticnetcasts@gmail.com, or you can call our voicemail number, which is 805-328-3966, 805-328-3966. Do you think we can bring this podcast to a close? Do you think we've covered? Have you heard back from him yet?
I have
messaged him.
I have not. I believe he's playing video games.
Okay. So keep listening to future episodes of Weird World Weekly, and hopefully we'll something will come of this.
Yeah, I will hear from him tonight. But yeah, I'll be sure to update in the next episode.
Okay. So, if you have feedback on this particular subject, like I said, let us know through our feedback channels. You can go to gncasts.com and actually find contact us link where you can fill out a form. And if you don't want to mess with email or call us directly, you can do that. While you're on the website, please click on that subscribe tab at the very top. That will bring you to where you can subscribe to this podcast or our other podcasts on the Galactic Netcast Network, like Matt's Podcast of Terror. You guys are like pumping out episodes left and right recently, like more than one a week.
Well, we only did more than one a week because of Halloween.
Okay.
But we're back to Tuesdays with Corey doing Nanu or whatever the heck it's called.
NaNoWriMo?
Yeah, that too. But yeah, so we're just back to doing Tuesdays, and we do have some cool stuff coming up. We have Matt Vincent, who's the 2012 Highland Games world champion, is going to be on an episode a week from Tuesday, and we're going to be covering Nosferatu and drinking Great Lakes Nosferatu Imperial Red.
Oh, Nosferatu, the movie from way back in the
like,
movie, right?
Yeah, the 1950s. I don't think it's the silent one.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Let me look at the year on this thing.
But you guys are doing the whole alcohol theme thing.
Yes,
that's awesome.
I wanna do the. There's a Reanimator beer that came out too. I'm trying to get my hands on that. It's from out in Pennsylvania though, so it's gonna take some time. So Reanimator is currently a view instant on Netflix. So I want to do Reanimator when I get the beer. I don't know if Matt would come back or not. He's a busy guy, so.
Okay, so Podcast of Terror is all about horror films, right? So
yes,
you'll do an episode where you'll review a certain movie, and then you'll talk about the news once in a while too, right?
Yeah, usually cool stuff going on. Now that Halloween's over, it might be a little more difficult to find news, but
okay,
stuff.
All right, so listen to Matt's Podcast of Terror at gncasts.com. We have the Alien Invasion, we have the Sci-Fi Geeks Club, we have this podcast, and much more. Don't forget, you can find us on Stitcher and iTunes, and please give us some positive feedback. Why don't you? Like a thumbs up on Stitcher and a 5-star rating on iTunes. That helps us get even more listeners and makes the party even better with more. Because you want people at your party, right, Matt?
I love people at my parties.
Yeah, as long as they don't like puke on the furniture.
Yeah, that's a bad time.
Or like put cigarettes out on the rug. We don't want that.
Or puke on my dog. Don't puke on my dog.
So join the party by subscribing, giving us feedback, 5 stars, thumbs up, Stitcher, iTunes. Thank you very much. We appreciate that. And that's going to do it for this episode of Weird World Weekly, a production of Galactic Netcasts. And until next time, Matt, what's your words of wisdom?
Stay weird, Dave. Keep it weird.
Yeah.
Get wacky.
Perfect. All right.
Yes. So I think I found the Deadzone.
Oh, you did? Okay.
Yeah, it's in Sanford, which looks to be, it's just north of Orlando, but it's on where the St. Johns River meets Lake Monroe.
Okay.
So that's
word for it. I should look at a map.
Here.
Hang on.
Look at my screen.
All right, hang on. Okay.
So that's Sanford. Here's Orlando. Right here. Right by the Central Florida Zoo and Botanical Gardens.
Okay. But you can't. I suppose you can't see the mouse when you do the screen share.
Oh, I thought you
I
could.
see it. Yeah, I can see it. Okay.
Yeah. Okay.
Point at it again.
Right here.
Okay. It doesn't say on Google Maps that that's the I-4 Deadzone, does
No, I had to find a news report. This one. The Haunting Legend of the I-4 Deadzone in Sanford.
Okay.
That's how I found it, by looking at Sanford and then just seeing where I-4 and water was.
Okay. Sweet.
Yes.
Hey,
Yes.
our hangout is we're still alive.
Hmm.
Party people. You got a little extra there. Awesome.
Is anyone even watching?